Why hasn't the imperial decree arrived yet? By the grace of the emperor, hear the decree, Crown Princess Su lacks moral integrity, is hereby demoted to a commoner, and shall be moved to the cold palace. Haha. It is finally here. It is over. She must have lost her mind from the shock. I thank His Majesty for his grace. Long live the emperor, may he live 10,000 years. Shouldn't she be weeping and clutching his robes, asking why he betrayed her? I can finally collect my severance and leave. Wang Qing. If your heart is heavy, then just cry it out. I know you've been wronged and are suffering. No more early morning greetings. No more listening to the secondary consorts boasting. No more sleeping in an empty bed. And no more fetching his foot washing water. This is absolute paradise. This Xiao Jingyuan is a stubborn mule. He loves hearing flattery. If I act too happy, he might just get angry out of spite and turn the cold palace into a prison cell. That wouldn't be worth it. Your Highness, I, a mere commoner, know that I lack the fortune to be worthy of someone as magnificent as you. As long as you are well, Your Highness, even if I must eat bran and weeds in the cold palace, my heart will still be, even after being cast aside. Your heart is still with me. Rest assured, I will not let you suffer in the cold palace. Once the situation settles, I will. Your Highness. The hour is late. I must return and pack my bedding. If I'm late, I might not even get a good sleeping spot. Lai Banban. Did she just smile when she turned around? I think you saw wrong, Your Highness. That was merely Commoner Su forcing a smile, so as not to worry you. Ah, what a devoted woman. Indeed, Sai. He is always so sensible. So sensible that it breaks my heart. Finally, I'm free. Qinghe. Hurry back to the palace and pack our things. Take that purple clay tea set with you, and that jar of osmanthus honey I hid under the bed. Oh, and don't you dare forget that Mandarin duck hot pot. My lady, we're going to the cold palace, not going on a holiday. Why would you need a hot pot? Don't be silly. The cold palace is a gloomy place. If I don't have a hot meal, how will I manage? Ha ha ha. With that troublemaking crown prince gone, our good life is about to begin. My lady, can people actually live in this place? I heard several concubines hang themselves here. It is nice, it really is. My lady, have you been so angry that you've lost your mind? What could possibly be nice about this dump? What do you know? Look at this ground. The soil is fertile. Once we clear the weeds, we can grow bok choy. And look at that corner. Shaded and breezy. It is perfect for building a trellis to grow grapes. And these rooms here. Cough, cough. Are bright and spacious. They're just a wall away from the back of the imperial kitchen. Do you know what this is? This is what you call a prime riverfront property. A detached house with a private courtyard too. Back in the Eastern Palace, whenever we wanted a hot meal, we had to endure the looks from those servants in the kitchen. But here, everything here belongs to us. But we have nothing to eat. We left in such a hurry. We only brought a few snacks. I'm already starving. What is that? A spare key to the back door of the imperial kitchen. That head eunuch lost a gamble. Borrowed 5 taels of silver from me and gave me this key as collateral. I thought I'd never need it, but who knew heaven would provide a way out? Don't throw away those weeds. Tree these out and we can use them as firewood. Energy crisis, get it? You have to learn sustainable development. Mission accomplished. Everything is ready, except for the east wind. What east wind? It is dinner time. Let's go. Grab our gear. We're going next door to borrow some ingredients. My lady, are we really going to crawl through a dog hole? If word of this gets out, your reputation. Can reputation put food on the table? Besides, this is called experiencing life. It is called staying grounded. Hurry up, stop dawdling. The imperial kitchen must have made braised pig's trotters tonight. Wow, it smells so good. Take the Jinhua ham. Take the top-grade bird's nest too. There's half a roast suckling pig here too. What a waste. Take it all. Wait, isn't this the emperor's favorite golden koi? I heard it got sick and was sent to the imperial kitchen for quarantine. Qinghe, look at this fish. Its forehead is dark, its eyes are dull. It is clearly terminally ill, and its days are numbered. Instead of letting it die of sickness, why not let it, in its final moments, serve a final purpose and warm our starving bellies? I'd call that a great act of charity, wouldn't you? My lady, if you want to eat the fish, just say so. Stop making killing and eating sound so enlightened, okay? It is so late. There isn't a single light on inside. I suppose he must have gone to bed early. On such a cold night, are his blankets thick enough? Is the window drafty? Wanching, I have failed you. Please just bear with it for a few more days, I will surely. Why does this smell like that thing that Wan Qing used to secretly make in the small kitchen in the East Palace called Hot Pot? No, impossible. A place like the Cold Palace doesn't even have a hot stove. Where would a hot pot come from? I must be sick with longing, hallucinating again. Cheers, let's have some. My lady, this fish soup is so fresh. This fish spirit really lives up to its reputation. The meat is so firm, and it has such a great texture. Of course, don't you know who simmered it? Don't just eat the fish. This Napa cabbage is also top tier. It is even tastier than the meat. Come on, let's add some vermicelli. Shang Jin Jinlin, isn't that the emperor's most prized koi? How did it end up in a pot in the Cold Palace? And judging by the noise, not only are they not crying, they're having a feast. Yusu Wanqing, I've been here worrying myself sick over you, and you're here in the Cold Palace whining and dining. You even dared to steal and eat the Emperor's royal koi. How does she look even fatter than she was back at the Eastern Palace? Your Highness, why are you here? What are you two doing? Your Highness, you've finally come. My heart is filled with sorrow, Your Highness. Haha, sorrow, I see. You seem to be eating quite heartily. Your Highness, it is a misunderstanding. This isn't some gourmet meal. This is my own blood and tears. I miss you so much, Your Highness. I haven't been able to eat or sleep. I had to scavenge some rotten leaves and boil them with these chilies, just to numb my taste buds. I was pretending I was still eating that unfinished hot pot with you. Rotten cabbage leaves. Could I have truly misunderstood? Wanqing, you've suffered. Your Highness, as long as I can see you, I am willing to endure any amount of suffering. Don't worry. I am going back now, and I will have the Imperial Kitchen send over some fine food for you. These rotten vegetable leaves, don't eat them anymore. No, Your Highness, I am a woman in disgrace. How dare I enjoy the Imperial Kitchen? This hardship is what I deserve. If Your Highness truly has me in your heart, then please don't worry about me. Let me stay here and atone for my sins in peace. What a sensible, what a long-suffering woman. Very well, I will do as you wish, but remember, my heart will always be here with you. Quick, where's that piece of fish belly from earlier? It wasn't crushed by him, was it? My lady, your acting skills. It is truly a pity you didn't become a stage performer. Even I almost believed it just now. This is what you call deception in warfare. As long as it doesn't get in the way of us eating meat, what does it matter if I play the fool? Wanqing, this is a token of my affection. This spendthrift, classic for women, afraid I'll be lonely, making me cultivate my character. This color is as red as a monkey's backside. It would look hideous on anyone. And this hairpin, the style is completely ancient. My lady, then, what should we do? Throw it away? Throw it out? That would be such a waste. This is a gift from the Crown Prince himself. Although it is a bit ugly, it carries the prestige of the Eastern Palace. In this palace that is a symbol of status. Oh my, this was personally gifted by the Crown Prince last night. It is a pity that I am now devoted to the Buddha and have no use for these worldly trinkets. If you like it, sister, then take it. Consider it sharing in my good fortune. Perhaps you'll be the one summoned tonight. My price is 3 times the market rate. No credit allowed. Lady Li, this shaking hair ornament is a limited edition. 50 taels of silver. Not a single coin less. Lady Wang, this rouge box may be a bit too bright in color, but its strength is how it brightens your complexion. The Crown Prince loves these fiery red lips the most. Take it for 100 taels. A legendary gold. Haha. Mahjong. Quick, hide the stuff. Couldn't sit still anymore, could you? Coming here to mark your territory, huh? Oh, if it isn't the crown princess. What wind blew you over here? The cold palace is cramped. I'm afraid it can't accommodate someone of your stature. How bold of you, Lady Sue. Upon seeing the crown princess, you should be kneeling, your ladyship. My knees were injured a couple of days ago. The imperial physician said I must rest. I cannot kneel. The crown princess is always merciful, so she surely wouldn't hold it against a cripple, would she? I have come here today because the crown prince mentioned you were living in hardship in the cold palace. I wanted to see if there was anything I could do to help. These clothes, though I have worn them before, the fabric is still quite fine. Please don't think poorly of them. As for these meals, I heard your daily diet is very simple, and I've been quite concerned. I had my people prepare some and bring them over. She is here to disgust me, isn't she? Fine, since you've delivered yourself to me to be toyed with. Don't blame me for being impolite. Ah, sister. You truly are a living bodhisattva. I've been worrying about having no clothes to wear, though these clothes are a bit old and they smell like mothballs. I don't mind at all, truly. You. Let go. Sister, don't leave yet. I have so much more I want to say to you. You have no idea how big the rats in this cold palace are. One even bit my toe last night. Oh, sister. That hairpin is truly beautiful. Could you let me borrow it for a couple of days? Fine, fine, fine. Take it. Just let go of me. Hemp. A weakling with a power level of only 5. Go and dump that bowl of rice. It is not even fit for a dog. Let's get back to our pig trotters. Lai Banban, go check on the cold palace. If he's lost weight, you'll be the one to pay. Your Highness, Su Shiren has lost weight. He is nothing but skin and bones. It breaks my heart just to look at him. No, I truly cannot set my mind at ease. I must go see him myself, your Highness. You mustn't. The cold palace is a place of ill omen. You are of noble birth. How can you risk such danger? What if you catch Su Shiren roasting lamb skewers in the yard? That would be disastrous. Besides, if Su Shiren knew you saw him in his current, wretched state, he would surely die of shame. I don't care. No matter what he has become, in my heart, he is still the most beautiful. It is over. Everything is over. Today, everything is on young Master Su. Eat and drink until we're wasted. Thank you, sister. You're the best sister. Wanqing, I've come to see you. Is this the person who is skin and bones? The one who fainted from grief while chanting scriptures? Backfired. Your Highness, please listen to my explanation. The sheep committed suicide. It didn't want to live anymore. It slammed into the cold palace gate and died, so I wouldn't have to eat wild weeds. I roasted it, all while shedding tears. I really was performing a memorial service. My heart is even more bitter than this charcoal. Do you take me for a fool? Oh, Your Highness, you've finally come. If you hadn't come today, I'm afraid you wouldn't have seen me at all. I wouldn't have seen you? You seem to be having a wonderful time here. You've probably even forgotten which way the Eastern Palace faces. Happy, Your Highness. Take a look at my courtyard. Take a look at these clothes I'm wearing. Does this look like I'm having a good time? I spend my days and nights longing for you, unable to eat or sleep. I've grown so thin, I'm barely recognizable. Then explain to me, what is going on with this lamb? Don't tell me. You picked this up like those rotten vegetable leaves too? Pimp. It's a long story, Your Highness. This afternoon, I was in my room chanting sutras to pray for your well-being when suddenly I heard a loud thud outside the courtyard gate. I went out to take a look, and saw this very lamb, which had drawn ed itself against the gatpost of our cold palace. I was so terrified I went blank. Then I pondered it further. This lamb must have a spirit, knowing I was suffering here. It felt pity for me, and chose to sacrifice itself for justice, wishing to offer its own flesh to nourish me. Think about it, Your Highness, a lamb so loyal and righteous. How could I leave it to rot in the wilderness? That is why I carefully cleaned it, and set it over the fire, intending to chant passages of the rebirth mantra as I roasted it, so that it might be reborn into a better life in the next, and never again think of ending its own life like this. There is something suspicious about all of this. But he looks so pitiful and aggrieved, he must be worried that I'm angry, and will stop paying attention to him. Enough. The ground is cold, get up. I should be furious, but look at what this cold palace has become. It's like a marketplace. How scandalous. Which palaces are you all from? How dare you enter the cold palace, unauthorized to mess around with a disgraced consort? Guards. Please, your highness, calm your anger. It's not their fault. It was me. I was so afraid being all alone that I begged them to come in and keep me company. If you must punish someone, punish me alone. As for what happened today, I will spare you for now. But from this day forward, the guards around this cold palace will be doubled. Without my express order, not even a fly will be allowed in. And all this rubbish, confiscate it all. Since you are a deposed consort, you should act like one. Stay here and properly reflect on your mistakes. My lady, all our silver and that set of ivory mahjong tiles were all taken away. What are we going to do now? What to do? If the old doesn't go, the new won't come. He thinks he can keep me locked up just by adding a few guard dogs. How naive, Singhe. Look at these fellows standing there like posts. How exhausting, heh. Should we think of a way to find some amusement for them to relieve their boredom? It's been a while since we had some excitement. Let's take a break for a few days first. I'm bored out of my mind here. I'm getting rusty from all this idleness. Hey, big guy, you stand around like this all day. Don't your legs get tired? Do you want to come in and have some water? Big guy, that armor is polished so bright. You could use it as a mirror. What brand of wax do you use? Share some with me later, won't you? If they won't take the soft approach, then we'll use the hard approach. Oh no, let's use some gossip. Do you know why? The third young master of the Minister of War's household was strung up and beaten by his father the other day. They're taking the bait. Let me tell you, it's because that third young master had his eyes on the new girl at the music conservatory named Xiao Fengxian, and as luck would have it that Xiao Fengxian happened to be the mistress, kept on the side by Minister Wang of the Ministry of Revenue. So the other night, the third young master snuck into Minister Wang's villa and was enjoying a romantic moment with Xiao Fengxian, and was caught red-handed by Minister Wang. Can you imagine such a thing? This is absolutely true. When I was mistress of the prince's mansion, I heard it from those noble ladies. And the head maid in the mistress's quarters, the one called Yuzan, looking so prim and proper, secretly got involved with a little eunuch from the imperial stables. The two of them agreed, once they saved up enough silver, they would bribe someone to get them out of the palace and live as a married couple. Want to hear the rest? You can hear it, sure, but my throat is parched and I'm not feeling it. It is just too dull. Ah, there we go. Minister Wang was absolutely livid and immediately wanted to have the young master arrested, but the young master wasn't one to be trifled with either. He reached back and pulled out a letter. Just relying on the guards for roasted chicken and dried meat won't do. Now that I have stationery from Qinghe, I'll turn what I hear from the guards into a little gazette and sell it to them. I'll spice it up as I write it down. Go ahead, pass it around among your colleagues. 10 copper coins a copy. We'll split the earnings, 3-7. 7 for me, 3 for you. Sheesh. Wait, is that for real? Mistress Su, everyone's waiting for the next issue, you see. Haha, easy there, easy there. You want an update? Sure, but it'll cost you for the next issue. We'll have an exclusive scoop. Why is it that on the Crown Princess's vanity, a bottle of arsenic is hidden? Starting price, 20 copper coins. Ah, the Crown Princess sharpening her blades at midnight. Preposterous. Calm yourself, Your Highness. This must be someone jealous of you, slandering you on purpose. Investigate. Have it investigated. I want to see exactly which bold person to dare to mess with me. The Cold Palace. So it was you. Su Wangqing, I will not let this go. Mother, you must seek justice for me. What has happened? Who has upset you? Mother, it is Su Wangqing from the West Garden. Right now, the whole palace is in a state of panic, all gossiping in private about the royal family. If this continues, the nation will fall, Mother. How insolent. Guards, bring the Su woman to the cunning palace. I want to ask her myself. Who gave her the nerve to do this? Oh no, the secret is out. The disgraced concubine Su Wangqing pays her respects to Her Majesty the Empress. Su Wangqing, do you know your crime? Your servant does not know. Ever since I moved to the West Garden, I have been reflecting on my faults behind closed doors every day. I do not know what crime I have committed, still daring to quibble. Are these things not written by you? Answering the crown princess, they were indeed written by me. Hump, it is good that you admit it. As a deposed consort, instead of repenting, you spread rumors throughout the palace, fabricating stories. According to palace rules, you should be beaten to death. Do you have anything else to say for yourself? I didn't expect this to blow up so big. In reply to Her Majesty the Empress, what I have done is not a crime, but a service. A service, is it? Good. I would like to hear what service you have performed. Firstly, what I have written. Though seemingly absurd, in truth, they are all words of worldly wisdom. For instance, the story of Minister Wang falling for a courtesan was meant to warn everyone in the palace not to be blinded by passion or led astray. Secondly, the Cold Palace is a place where resentment gathers. If left unchecked, it will surely affect the fortune of the entire imperial palace. By writing these stories, I spread righteous energy, bringing life and vibrancy to the Cold Palace, filling it with vital warmth. This balances the yin and the yang. This is a service to the feng shui. Third, and most importantly, the palace guards bear a heavy responsibility, but they are human too, standing watch day and night. It is inevitable that they grow tired, so I shared some interesting stories with them and wrote these pieces, all to keep them alert and sharp, so they stay vigilant at all times. Nonsense. You have a silver tongue. Your Majesty, please observe clearly. Every word I speak comes from the heart. There is not a shred of falsehood. If your Majesty does not believe me, you may ask the guards of the West Garden. Look at them while they stand watch now. Are they not 100 times more energetic than before? Considering this is your first offense, I shall spare you for now. But those messy scraps of paper, destroy them all immediately. If you ever dare to spout such nonsense again, do not blame me for disregarding our past ties. I will obey your decree. Thank you, Your Majesty, for sparing my life. Haha. The imperial concubine wants to fight me. She is a little too inexperienced, suppressing evil spirits with the power of literature. Did Su Shi really say that? Yes, answering Your Majesty. Every word is true. I heard that the Empress was left speechless by her words at the time. Ha ha ha. How interesting. How interesting. My former daughter-in-law is quite a fascinating character. The crown prince cast her aside. I wonder if it was his gain or his loss. Say, are there any more of those Cold Palace's leaflets left? Reporting to Your Majesty, they were all destroyed by the Empress's order. What a pity, what a pity. Go and pass on my imperial decree. Say that the deposed consort, Lady Su of the Western Garden, has shown merit in teaching the palace servants, and especially granted a set of the 4 treasures of the study, along with 100 sheets of top-quality Xuan paper. Tell her to write well. Write with care and present it to me once she is finished, Yulan. Does His Majesty intend to follow her story in person? Your Highness, what does this mean? Could it be that even His Majesty has seen through Wanqing's good intentions? Lai Banban, prepare the carriage to the Western Garden. I must go and tell Wang Qing that I understand everything in her heart. My heart aches for you, my dear. Just how exactly does your brain work? My lady, what are we going to do? His Majesty wants you to write, but what will you write about? You can't exactly write about the crown princess's foot fungus, can you? That would be a crime against the emperor. Oh, now look what's happened. Like driving a duck onto a perch, you have no choice but to write it. Write what? Open the doors, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince has arrived. Wang Qing. I am here. You don't need to keep up the act anymore. Your Highness, what is this charade? This humble commoner is busy handling an errand for the Emperor. All these stunts you've been pulling, aren't they just to get my attention? My father, the Emperor, bestowing writing materials upon you must be because he saw your deep devotion to me and wants to give you a way out. Has this man's brain been crushed in a door, or was it pierced by that fishbone from the other day? Your Highness, this humble one, to speak from the bottom of my heart, all I want right now is to stay in this cold palace, quietly living a life of eating and waiting to die. As a good-for-nothing, your offer is too high, and these commoner legs of mine cannot climb it. To think she is this self-deprecating, is she acting this lowly, just so she doesn't drag me down with her? Set your mind at ease. I will speak to the royal family about this. As long as you exercise some restraint from now on and stop writing those scandalous slanders, I will certainly beg Father to restore your status. Ah, no. Please, Your Highness, absolutely not. This cold palace has excellent feng shui. The air is refreshing, and I am so happy here. I have no desire to leave. I truly do not wish to move. If you really want to be kind to me, just reward me with a few extra pounds of fine pork belly. That would be far better than any consolation. She must be afraid of the grievances in the Eastern Palace, so she is using reverse psychology to test me. Wang Qing, you always think so much for my sake. I will surely never let you down. The hardest people to communicate with in this world are those delusional, self-righteous types. My lady, how about we write about how tall the weeds are in the imperial garden? The emperor gets bored reading memorials all day. We need to write something interesting, and something the emperor doesn't know yet. Those things His Majesty is unaware of. Did you climb the tree? Did you both buy it? Ha 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 ha. What a wonderful display of investigating things to acquire knowledge. What a sharp and witty way of speaking. Ha ha ha. This Su Shi is truly a fascinating person. Reward Su Shi with 100 taels of gold and 10 bolts of fine silk. Tell him to keep writing. Master Su, I have some explosive news. Go ahead. Master Su, I have some explosive news. Last night, the pug in Consort Shu's palace dug up Consort D's most beloved peony flower. Master Su, I know something too. The steward at the laundry department has been secretly selling off old palace garments. Made a tidy profit from that dirty business. Write that down, write that down. This is what we call getting among the people to understand their lives. We must run this intelligence report with standards and with flair. About the peony flower, make the story about the peony sound even more tragic. My lady, this Su Shi is going way too far, relying on the emperor's favor. If things go on like this, I fear this inner palace will soon be surnamed Su. Doesn't he love to write? Then I shall let him write until he has had enough. Nanny Jiang, go make the arrangements. We'll add some authentic material to his intelligence report, my lady. Letters between the Minister of War and frontier generals, showing treacherous intent. My lady, this is a massive scoop. If we publish this, the Emperor will surely reward us handsomely. Qinghe, burn this note. We are in the newspaper business, not the investigation business. We don't touch affairs that could cost us our heads. Su Shi, you have some nerve. How dare you leak military secrets in your reports, trying to destabilize the nation? Men, search the place. Search if you must. A clear conscience needs no excuse. Ha 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 ha. Damn, they're pretty slick with this frame-up job. Sushi, what else do you have to say? Hiding secret military correspondence. This is a crime punishable by total extermination of your clan. Move, come with me to see the emperor. Father, I am only thinking of the state. This Sushi, instead of behaving in the cold palace, has dared to collude with outside officials. Her crimes are truly unforgivable. Sushi, this letter was found under your pillow. What is your explanation? Your Majesty, may this commoner ask, what is written in this letter? These are secret letters between the Minister of War and frontier generals discussing defense plans involving national security. Oh, then may this humble woman ask another question? What was used to write this letter? Ink and brush, obviously. Then may this humble woman ask again, are there any fingerprints of this humble woman on this envelope? Fingerprints? What on earth are those? Your Majesty, look at my hands. I spend my days transcribing reports. They're as black as charcoal. If I had touched this letter, this envelope would surely be covered in black and purple smudges. Take a look at that envelope. It is as clean and pale as the face of a newlywed bride. Does that make any sense? It only means you were careful and left no trace behind. Your Highness, that isn't quite right. If I were really that careful, would your men have found it so easily? I am not a fool after all. Besides, I am merely a disgraced consort. What would I do with a defense plan? Do you honestly think I would lead the old matrons in this cold palace to fight a war at the border? Your Majesty, take a look at the content of this letter as well. It mentions the border lacks grain and requests funds. Couldn't the Minister of War just submit a formal memorial to you? Why would he go through all this trouble, stuffing a letter under the pillow of a discarded consort like me, only for the Crown Princess to find it? Is the Minister of War out of his mind? Or does he simply have a death wish? Father, your child. I only acted upon a report from a servant. Which servant made this report? Bring them here for a confrontation. If the stories don't match up, then that constitutes a false accusation, which is punishable as a capital crime. That is quite enough. Consort Wang is the Crown Princess. You do not think to assist the Crown Prince, but spend your days inciting trouble in the inner palace and framing your peers. It seems you have too much free time on your hands. Father, please calm your anger. I know I was wrong. Get back to your quarters and reflect on your actions for 3 months. Without my direct decree, you are not to step 1 foot outside the Eastern Palace. Sushi, you stay behind. Sushi, your defense just now was actually quite reasonable. How come I never noticed you had such eloquence before? Hihi, your Majesty is too kind. It's not eloquence, your Majesty. It's just sticking to the facts. I'm just a common girl with no big ambitions. I just happen to enjoy telling the truth. I asked you to stay because I have a task for you. A task again. I've been feeling lately that the memorials in this court are becoming increasingly dull. They are full of empty words. I want you to prepare a private report for me. A private report? Exactly, hehe. You keep an eye on all the officials in this court. Which official's son is being a troublemaker? I want to see what these ministers, who speak only of holy scriptures, are actually like behind closed doors. What the hell? Your Majesty, are you trying to start a secret intelligence agency? Wow, Your Majesty, isn't that a bit inappropriate? I am just a cast-off concubine, prying into the privacy of government officials. If this were to get out, I'd be drowned by their spit. What are you afraid of? I'll back you up. From now on, you are my special observer. Any information you can gather, as long as it's true, I will reward you handsomely with Your Majesty's backing and a reward to boot. This deal doesn't seem like a loss at all. Fine, since Your Majesty thinks so highly of me, then I'll go all in. But Your Majesty, I have one request. Speak. To handle this private report, I need a substantial operating budget. Do you think the food in the cold palace could be upgraded? And for my informants, they need some incentive money too, right? Granted. From now on, The provisions for the cold palace will match those of a noble consort. I look forward to seeing what kind of surprises you can bring back for me. Noble consort status. Now forget about braised pig trotters. Even if it were dragon meat, I could find a way to get my hands on it. Wang Qing, did the emperor do anything to you? I was worried sick, you know. Your Highness, from now on, please don't waste your breath worrying about me. I am now the emperor's officially appointed special observer. Special observer? What kind of office is that? Qing He, quickly open that jar of aged flower wine gifted by the emperor. We're having hot pot tonight. Let's celebrate the official opening of the Cold Palace Media Group. Father actually gave her such an important task. This means Father has finally recognized her. It means he is testing her ability to handle state affairs. Qing, I truly did not misjudge you. In order to be worthy of me, you even accepted such a grueling assignment. I shall never let you down. My lady, big news. Minister of Rights, Lord Zhou, was in his private garden yesterday, trying to investigate the nature of things with his pet crane, when the crane pecked him right in the backside. He is currently lying in bed calling in sick. Good, I've already got the headline. Let's call it The Minister of Rights and His Crane, an Unspeakable Affair, a discourse on the nature of beasts and the path of the sages. Haha. Lord Zhou, oh Lord Zhou. I never knew you had such refined hobbies, ha ha ha. Go and deliver my imperial decree. Bestow 2 bottles of the finest medicinal ointment upon Minister Zhou, and grant him the title of Hermit of the Crane Pavilion. Tell him to rest up well, so as not to waste the crane's deep affection. My lady, this Su girl has really become a force to be reckoned with. If we don't act now, I fear the Eastern Palace will truly change hands. Do you think I don't know that? But that wretch has the Emperor's protection now. A direct confrontation certainly won't work. Nanny, is your plan foolproof? As long as we bury this thing beneath the trees in the Western Cold Palace, then find a reason to have the Emperor search the place. By then, Su Wanqing won't be able to talk her way out of it, even with 100 mouths. The crime of cursing the sovereign, just as you said, Nanny. I want her, Su Wanqing, to find that death would be a mercy, and life a constant torment. I keep feeling like there is someone in the courtyard. What could it be? It must be some official sending over hush money. Just leave it there for now. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Huh? What is this? My lady, this is a voodoo effigy. Someone is trying to frame you. If this thing is discovered, it is a crime punishable by the extermination of your entire clan. Frame me. I think this is a gift. Oh, honestly, look at this. The needles are stuck in quite evenly. It is perfect for scratching an itch. I haven't been able to reach this spot on my back. This back scratcher arrived just in time. My lady, what are you made of? That is a weapon meant to curse you. The wood is quite nice though. It is agar wood, isn't it? It even smells good, and the needles are pure silver. I can pull them out later and trade them for wine. Whoever sent this is really too generous. His Majesty has arrived. The Empress has arrived. His Highness the Crown Prince has arrived. Father, Mother, your son received a report alleging that someone in the West Garden's Cold Palace is engaging in illicit acts, setting up a private altar, and cursing the sovereign. For the sake of the royal family's safety, I had no choice but to ask Father to come and investigate personally. Wang Qing. You. Father, look. What she is holding is that voodoo doll. The evidence is indisputable. Su Wanqing, what are you doing? Answering His Majesty, this commoner was just scratching an itch. I don't know who this little toy belongs to, but I just dug it out from under a tree and found it to be exceptionally good for scratching my back. Would you like to try it? It hits the spot perfectly. This is for scratching itches? Yes, though the needle point is a bit sharp. I was planning to file it down before using it more. Your Majesty, is this item illegal? If it is, I shall donate it to the Imperial Treasury immediately. Father, she is lying. She clearly used this to cast a curse on me and the Crown Prince. Lady Wang, are you blind? This has Su Shi's own name written on it. Who would make a doll to curse themselves and then use it as a back scratcher? How could that be? It clearly had Su Wanxi's name on it. Isn't it supposed to be for cursing someone else? I was too nervous yesterday and I ended up writing the name wrong. Lady Wang, you dared to perform such vile acts right under my nose, framing a colleague and resorting to forbidden sorcery. Your time as crown princess is well and truly over. Wanqing, I suspected all along that Lady Wang would try to harm you, so you intentionally dug up that doll and made a show of scratching your back with it just to lure the snake out of its hole? Such wit and such strategic brilliance. I am truly humbled. Your Highness, you've really overthought this. I genuinely just had an itchy back. No, you don't need to explain. I know you just don't want me to think you're terrifying. For my sake, you've been willing to bear the reputation of being a simpleton, suffering in the cold palace all this time. Wang Qing, I shall go beg father to restore you as crown princess immediately. No, please don't. Your Highness, I beg of you. Just let me stay right here. Being crown princess is too exhausting. I'd have to play mind games with everyone. My brain is only good enough for writing trivial reports and eating hot pot. If you really want to compensate me, just grant me that set of jewelry Lady Yu left behind. I'll trade it for some meat to eat. Do you see? Even now, you are still trying to save me money. Wang Qing, the more you act this way, the less I am able to let you go. Sigh. The gap in our communication is so wide that even the Milky Way couldn't fill it. Your Highness, look at these ants. Just for a little bit of food, they really should take advantage of having good teeth and eat a couple more pieces of meat. Such deep Buddhist insight. That is truly the great wisdom of transcending the mortal world. Huh. This lazy, carefree life is just so good.